own it, okay? Because when we're making excuses, it's we know that we are not telling the truth to ourselves. Okay, so I'm not saying to you go out and do it, but if you're not doing it, do it and own the reason why you're not. This is where the transformation will come within us. Okay, this is what we're having to work with, and this is what this Aquarius moon is bringing in for us. Okay, so I'm gonna, it's almost like I'm seeing this gilded cage here, and they say a caged bird doesn't sing. So if you're not singing, and you're not dancing and you're not living life, to the full, yes, there are always going to be obstacles. There's always going to be shit in the world, always, you know, nobody is ever free from that. But if we are not content and we are not in this place where we can look and say, you know what, I am doing the best for me. I am letting my freak flag fly. And it doesn't matter what anybody says about that, that is when we are living true to ourselves. And this Aquarius moon wants that. It wants the truth. Okay. Now, if we think of Gemini is an air sign as well, but Gemini wants to be right. Okay. It's about you're wrong, I'm right. It wants to deal with facts. It's very cold. It's hard. It's unmoving. Aquarius isn't like that. It's like the wind, it will blow all over. And Aquarius energy says, I am going to go out and find a new way. I'm going to find a new way to do it. It's almost like the inventors, everything. If you look at how things have kind of evolved, over time to make our life easier, to make our life simpler. This is Aquarian energy. Okay. It's the water carrier. Now, yes, Aquarius is air. But if you think it's the water carrier, water is our emotions. So this wants to carry our emotions to a place where they are settled. Okay? It's working with it. It's working with the air and the emotions together. And this is not really about being a plan. The only plan you need is to start. You need to feel that almost like a wind turbine I'm seeing there. You need to get fired up. It's pointless living in the past. Right, okay, sorry, they're coming in really hard here. So I'm going to have a drink because this is going to be a heavy one, I think. Right, okay. So every single one of us, okay, our wounds, our traumas, our stories, everything are all about the past, okay? The past, they've gone. We cannot do anything about them, okay? What we can do is we can own them in the now, stop hiding behind them, and actually say, right, that is what happened. I'm going to take that and I'm going to turn it to that. I'm going to transmute this, okay? I'm going to change it. I'm going to flip the switch. I am going to claim my power back. This is what happens, when we, and I'm not dismissing anything that's happened to anybody in their life. I'm not. I know people have had horrific lives. I know that, okay? But when we realize that we are not victims of our past, we were victimized. It's different. When we know that we were victimized, it's like, right, I am going to change that. If we say I am the victim of my past, you are allowing that past to dictate your present and your future. Okay? You're going to be in that loop all of the time. You are not what happened to you. Okay? That is something that was done a lot of times by other people, but to allow that to define you. I was watching an interview with Gabor Mate. I love that guy, I really do. And this woman spoke to him and she said, oh, I'm an alcoholic and I'm an addict. And he said, no, you're not. He said, being an alcoholic and being an addict are coping mechanisms that you used to deal with the pain that you were feeling. That is not who you are. Okay? You are a person who had trauma that found a way that you thought was helping you out of it. So please look at how you define yourself. Okay? And look at how that comes from, something that happened in the past rather than who you are. And this is what it's saying here, that we need to go back to the past. We need to claim our power back, and we need to forge our path forward with that. We haven't lost anything. Okay, we haven't. Anything that we do not hold dear now that isn't here, we haven't lost it because it wasn't ours. Okay, so stop coming from this place of lack. At this moment in time, they're saying we have everything we need to go forward. Okay, and that we will find within our heart when we allow ourselves to get fired up. If somebody, I always ask people, if you had 6 months to live, what would you change within your life? And think about that now. Think about what you would change. How would you like your last 6 months to be? And then go after that, because that will be the key as to how you want. Okay? And that is where your happiness will come. That is where you will be in harmony with the universe. If you're sitting in a job that you hate, in an office that you hate, in a relationship that is making you unhappy, waiting for the day or waiting for the time that it's right to get out, you are wasting time. The time is now. Okay? Sorry, I sound like some evangelistic preacher. This is how they're coming through. You will not get this in the mind. You will not get this through control. It's sitting, it's actually allowing yourself to go to that place. How would I like my life to be? If I had a magic wand, what would I do now that would change everything? Where would I be at peace? Because this is what is going to ignite your magic button. That is it. What will fill my heart? What is a good idea? What brings me peace of mind? And what makes me make sure I'm secure? And do that rather than live in the struggle. Because there are no prizes for martyrs, okay, in this world. There are none. When you get to the pearly gates, and St. Peter's there, and he goes, right, okay, what did you do with the life that I give you? And it's like, oh, well, I had some cool times, I guess. What, you mean you had some cool times? I give you, you had all of these gifts that you could use to live the life you want. Why didn't you use them? And this is it, it's like, when we get there, it's too late. So start to think now. What is it you want? The time of waiting is over. Okay? This is the time of doing. If you are not ready to swim out and catch that boat that is coming in for you, then you're going to miss it. If you're waiting till everything is perfect, you're going to miss it. You're going to stay trapped in a cage. Okay? You might as well be in prison. You might as well be in prison. At least then somebody makes your meals. You don't have to worry about anything, and that's how life is. Because, there is no love there. And love is about flow. And this is what this Aquarian energy wants to bring in. Okay? Don't wait for, the sign from God. God is going to change things. No, he's not. Know that within you is that God that you're waiting for to change things. And when you start to see that, and when you start to feel that, that is when you can start to look forward. Okay? So that's it. There's no, as I said in last month, there's nobody coming to save you on a white horse, okay? And there's no kind of finger of God coming down to change all of your experiences and change all of your, change your life. You have to be the change. And the thing is, you need to want that more than you want the life that you're living in now. Yes, small white flowers, can you please block Uriel there, please? Because the energy that's coming through isn't good with this. So what is happening here? We are having a battle at this moment of our ego and our soul. Okay, our souls want to go that way. Our ego wants us to stay in the past. Okay, and you have to choose which one it is that you're going to follow. And just think about it now for a second. Which one is going to take you where you want to go? Which one is going to take you to a place that is more open? That is, there are going to be more experiences, where there's going to be more evolution, and where there's going to be more happiness. Because it's not where you've been. If it was where you've been, you wouldn't be watching this now. So the only plan that is needed now is to say, I have everything that I need in this moment. Okay, even if you only have $1 in that bank, that $1 is your start to say, right, okay, what is it I want to do? We all have to start somewhere. And when you make joy and connection and living your goal, okay, this is when you can start to see where you want to go. So, yeah, we're in an opportunity at this moment in time that is amazing for us, actually, but we're sitting looking at what we haven't got, okay, rather than actually focusing on what we have. How do you do that? I remember once she showed me there. It was when I was in Ibiza, and a friend of mine turned up, and she had a bottle of wine, but we didn't have a corkscrew. We just moved, and she's like, "Oh, we can't open it." And I was like, "Right, okay, we can." I googled how to open a bottle of wine without a corkscrew. They said put it in a boot. So I got the boot, put the wine in it, banged it against the wall, and I opened it. I could have sat, and that bottle of wine could have been on the bench, and okay, we're not going to have it. But, I looked for another way to do it, somewhere somebody else had done it, and, nobody would think as a boot is a tool to open a bottle of wine, but it is possible. So this is what I'm saying. We've got to be innovative. We've got to think in a different way. And the more we allow ourselves this freedom, and this freedom to explore, and this freedom to expand, and the more we take risks, the safer we will feel. I know that sounds quite bizarre there, it's like counterproductive. But what that means is that we are trusting, okay? We are trusting the process, we are trusting the universe, and we are trusting ourselves. We are using the power that we have to go, right, okay, I'm going to go this way, and whatever happens, I will sort it out, rather than sitting in this place where it's causing us pain. Now, they said this to me earlier today, and I didn't understand why, but now it's coming in again. A lot of times we don't have to heal. Now, I know this is going to sound very controversial, okay? So we are all on a healing journey, and we have to uncover things and everything like that. But one of the main things they said about our healing is, one of the most important things with healing is to remove ourselves from the place that hurt us. We will never heal in the environment that hurt us. Okay? Does that make sense? By sharing our story, that can be healing in itself. When we start to speak it, we can see the flaws in it. We can see, where we're going round in the same patterns. We can see through the illusion and see them for what it is, that they're stories. And we can change our story at any time. Okay? There you go. The world. This is what we've got to do. This is where we come to completion. This is where we get peace of mind. This is where we get clarity of thought. When we put what is heavy down. If we're still carrying it from 20, 30, 40 years ago, no wonder we feel heavy. Put it down. Put it down. Lighten your load, and you will feel lighter. Open your heart instead of closing it. Because when our heart is closed, a lot of times we close our heart to protect ourselves. Okay? what is happening with that is we lock the pain in and we don't allow the good love in to heal that. So we're actually sitting in pain by closing our heart down. We can't connect with others. We're not open to new experiences. It's just this old pain that's in it that is sitting festering. You know, so sorry, I know this is stop fighting. We don't have to fight, okay? We don't have to fight. You don't fight for peace. You peace for peace. And if you want peace, you need, there you go. There is the star. This is what is coming in. The water bearer. This is a time of replenishment. This is where we're being guided. This is about making them wishes reality. You know, all we need, they might not come along tomorrow, but the second we answer that call of our soul and that which is handwritten on our soul, we are one step closer to where we're going to be. That is where we spark the change. And this is the change that is needed as a collective. But the only way the collective is going to change is if it starts with us. Okay, every single one of us, every single one that's on here now, every single one of us changed our story now, or even were willing to look at changing our story. That's it. That's all you need. Just the willingness to be able to do that. Do you know how many blocks and how many chains would break? You know, chains of ancestral trauma, ancestral damage, things that we're carrying that aren't even ours. We have to break the cycle because this is where our power lies. Okay, and every single one of us can do that. All we need to do is know that the universe is supporting us, that there are people out there, you know, who have had similar experiences, and know that we are not alone here. Know that we want to go forward rather than go back. This is when we will become our strongest. Because we don't become strong in drama. We don't become strong when we're in anxiety. And that all comes from either worrying about the past or worrying about the future. Okay? And in order to heal, we need to move from that environment that hurt us. And this is all the choice. This is what this Aquarius moon is saying to us. Are you going to free yourself? It's like a revolution. Viva la revolution. You know? Are you going to allow yourself to be liberated? You know, if we think of the Statue of Liberty, okay, she's holding the scales. It's like the truth card. Are you living in your truth? Or are you still living in a lie that is keeping you stuck? Okay, so I'm going to have a bit of a break now. Has anybody got anything to say with that? Sorry, I didn't realize it was going to come in as heavy there. I'm going to have to watch this back because I don't know if this made sense or not. But, you know, it very, very strongly came through. Has anybody got any questions? Has anybody got anything to say about what I've just said? Anybody? No. Right, I'm going to do the readings for other energies, crazy and depressing, or is it just me? The energies are crazy, but whether they're depressing. Now think about this word, small wildflowers, depressing, okay? Thank you for saying this. So depressing, okay? It's depressing, okay? It's repressing. So, you know, if you're feeling depressed, what is it that is causing that depression? What is it that you're feeling with that? Because true depression, and I'm not validating anything that you're feeling, but true depression is a chemical imbalance within the brain where we don't make serotonin. Okay, that is what true depression is, and that is actually very, very rare. I mean, we live in a world with people taking antidepressants, and people are more depressed than they ever have been. You know, you think of anybody that's taking antidepressants, they're still depressed. So that doesn't actually work. So what we've got to look at is this depression. What would change it? Okay. What would change this depression? If it's you're sitting there with no money and